Big things are happening in Miami today, and if you blink, you miss the whole vibe. You've got rookies shutting people up, vets losing ground, a full shift in the team's identity, and a playoff picture that nobody saw coming a month ago. All of it hits right at the future of Tua, McDaniel, and this entire roster. So buckle up, because some truths are going to sting and others are going to get you fired up. You think this team finally turned the corner, or is it just a hot streak? You won't believe what we have today. So sit back, hit that like button, and let's get straight into it. Let's roll, because this first story hits right at the heart of where the Dolphins are today and where they're trying to go, especially with the young guys who are finally showing what they've got. That 34-10 win over the Jets wasn't just another game. It was basically the rookies dropping a message saying they're part of this new Miami now. 7 of the 8 rookies played real snaps, and that's not some throwaway detail on a team pushing back into the playoff chase. That's a sign that the hierarchy in this locker room is shifting for real. The most symbolic piece of all this is Kenneth Grant showing exactly why the front office bet big on him. Against the Jets, he put together what might be his cleanest pass rush rep of the season, beating the guard with legit technique and getting home on the quarterback. That's not just a pretty clip. That's the kind of thing that tells you his ceiling is way higher than solid role player. When an interior defensive lineman starts winning straight up, in real game situations, you're looking at someone who can change how a defense calls pressure going forward. And he's been steady against the run too, dropping a one-handed tackle on Breece Hall that showed power and gap control. On offense, Jonas Savaiania is basically the mirror to that same quiet rise. He's been trending up for weeks, but against the Jets it felt like the switch finally flipped. In the run game, he was flat out moving bodies, both up front and at the second level, opening lanes for a run game that has officially become this team's identity. When a young lineman starts imposing his will like that, he changes more than the running back's day. He shifts the entire personality of the unit. The low external grade he got didn't match the tape. In 22 pass snaps, he lost just 1 true rep, an overset near the end zone. That's real development for a rookie. On the defensive rotation, Jordan Phillips and Zeke Biggers bring another kind of value: stability and depth. Phillips didn't light up the box score, but he put out his best pass rush rep of the year and continues to be a key anchor against the run, one of the pillars of this defensive turnaround. Biggers, a late-round pick, is carving out that rotational role every good defense needs. He's not a star, but he holds the point, generates pressure with effort, and looks like someone who can stick around long-term. Fans might not see headlines in that, but depth like this is exactly what separates teams that collapse in December from teams that stay alive. But not every rookie rode the wave. Jason Marshall Jr. barely existed in the game plan, coming in during garbage time and giving up catches when he finally got targeted. That's a clear message from the staff. Confidence is down, and he's not part of the real secondary rotation right now. Same for Ollie Gordon too, who lived the opposite reality. Even with a touchdown, he didn't produce yards, dropped a pass that almost turned into a turnover, and lost a blitz pickup. And with Jalen Wright exploding the moment he got real opportunities. You can't ignore the contrast. Gordon has a role, but if he doesn't raise his level, fans are going to start wondering whether he's a solution or just another body in the backfield. And that's not even the wildest part of the day. Here's the twist, because if you thought the rookie story was strong, what happened in the Dolphins' backfield against the Jets was straight up a season plot twist. We're talking about a running back who'd been written off, forgotten down the depth chart, suddenly taking over right when the offense needed someone to step up. And all of this happened in a game where the engine of the offense, Devon Achane, came out on fire, then went down with a rib shot that left the building dead quiet and raised a massive question about the rest of the year. Heading into this game, the narrative was simple. Achane was the rocket, the explosive weapon, and Ollie Gordon too would be the complementary speed guy to keep defenses honest. Right? Looked like just another name on the roster. Modest production, low yards per carry. Nothing that made fans pound the table for more snaps. His first 2 seasons painted the picture of a guy who couldn't turn limited chances into real impact. And for a team trying to chase a playoff spot, patience for that profile is short. But the NFL is the league of plot twists. A chain opens the game against the Jets looking like he's playing a different sport. 92 yards on 7 carries, a touchdown, catching passes, everything smooth. Then he takes that rib shot and leaves. The stadium felt it, and so did everyone watching. And the question was immediate. Is the offense done for the night? Gordon comes in, gets a touchdown, but can't create consistent yardage, struggling against a run defense that wasn't even top tier. That's when the door swings wide open for Jalen Wright. When Wright really takes over the backfield, it's not just stats. The dude is running with a different energy, like he knows this game could flip the entire narrative of his career. He goes over 100 yards, handles a heavy workload, keeps the average strong, and, most importantly, gives the offense a release valve on a night when Tua Tagovailoa just couldn't find rhythm through the air. He's been having maybe the most uneven season of his career. Too many picks, not enough yards. So seeing the run game carry the load felt like a collective exhale. There's more weight to this than it seems. Without Tyreek Hill, this team has already been reinventing itself into a physical run-first squad that wins by controlling the clock, protecting the defense, and taking pressure off Tua's shoulders. When Wright proves he can step up if a chain isn't at full strength, he's not just saving a game. He's keeping alive the identity McDaniel built for 2025. That affects the game plan for the next matchups because it lets the team stick to what's actually working. Run heavy, where teams down. Hit play action, and ask Tua to do enough instead of everything. Emotionally, fans reacted just how you'd expect. Some are already saying Wright finally turned the corner. Others want to see him do it again against a stronger defense. And that debate is perfect for the comments because it's not just about talent. It's about confidence, mentality, and how one game can rewrite how everyone sees a player. Wright's performance earns him more snaps and more patience from both fans and the staff. And if a chain takes time to return, expect Miami to lean hard into this two-headed approach. Wright is the workhorse and Gordon fighting not to fade into a situational role. And that's where things get even more interesting, because this run game rebirth doesn't just change the offense. It changes how the Dolphins face the final stretch and how they keep playoff hopes alive after starting 1-6. If the team found a reliable piece in Wright when everything felt like it was falling apart, what does that say about the resilience of this roster and their potential to make a real push? Deep breath, because now we've got to talk schedule, suffering, hope, and that classic Miami end-of-season math that every Dolphins fan knows too well. After starting 1-6, this team was basically buried. Everyone talking top 5 draft pick, full rebuild, questions about the coach, the quarterback, coordinators, everybody on the hot seat. Then the script flips. Suddenly they're 6-7 with 4 games to go. 5 wins in the last 6, 4 straight, and one detail that changes everything. The Dolphins aren't just alive. They're dangerous in a way that makes opponents look at the schedule and quietly say, damn, Miami is coming. Mathematically, it's still rough. They enter the final stretch as the 11th seed in the AFC, needing basically perfection. They have to win all 4 remaining games just to have a real shot at the wild card. Kansas City and Baltimore also have 6 wins and hold crucial tiebreakers, which means Miami's margin for error is almost nothing. But when you look at the context, it's not fantasy. This is a team that has already shown it can stack strong performances, especially now that it has found a real identity. A downhill run game and a defense that's finally playing to expectations. Offensively, the transformation is obvious. Without Tyreek Hill, a lot of people expected a collapse, but the opposite happened. Miami fully embraced the ground game. Using a 6th lineman in several formations added a nasty physical edge, open space for a chain to explode, and allowed the system to keep rolling even when he went down. Thanks to Jalen Wright, and even some situational snaps from Ollie Gordon. This isn't just a line playing well. This is Mike McDaniel admitting that the path to winning in 2025 isn't Tua throwing for 300 yards every week. It's owning the trenches, controlling the clock, and using the pass as the secondary tool. Tua hasn't thrown for 200 yards in over a month. He's having the least impressive season of his career, and the team is still fighting back into relevance. That says a lot about coaching maturity and winning ugly when you have to. Defensively, the story might be even sweeter for fans. The early season panic was the secondary. Soft, shaky, burned all the time, and not enough playmakers to survive when the pass rush didn't hit. The answer came with two additions that changed the whole vibe. Jack Jones and Rasul Douglas. Their arrivals stabilized everything, allowed tighter coverage, and bought time for the edge rushers to feast. Now the unit that looked like the Achilles heel is playing like a strength at the perfect moment. It took longer than anyone wanted and cost them some games. But this defense finally looks like a playoff unit. And here's the emotional dilemma every Dolphins fan knows by heart. This resurgence likely saved Mike McDaniel's job. For a lot of people, the 1-6 start was a pink slip waiting to happen. Now, with the team reborn, running better than ever, the defense locked in, and the locker room clearly behind him, it's hard to argue against giving him another year. At the same time, this run pulls Miami out of top draft pick range, which sparks another debate. Is it better to take the pain now and stock up on elite young talent, or double down on the belief that this core, with the right tweaks, can really push in 2026? The real answer is coming on the field in the next 4 games against Steelers, Bengals, Buccaneers, and Patriots. No breaks, no freebies. So here's the question for you, the fan. With this new Miami that's more physical, run-heavy, and defensive-minded, is it realistic to dream about going 4-0 down the stretch? Or is your heart setting you up again? Drop your take. Tell me if you think this stretch is about to lock McDaniel in long-term, or if, even with the comeback, it's still time for big changes. And if this video helped you make sense of the chaos that comes with being a Dolphins fan, hit that like, subscribe, and send it to that friend who called the season dead at 1-6 and is now pretending they never doubted. Around here, we're riding with this team to the last snap. So that's where we are. Rookies rising, right breaking out in the backfield. The defense finally playing like a real unit, and a 6-7 team refusing to accept the word rebuild. Every one of these pieces changes how we look at 2025, and especially 2026. Now I want to hear from you. Can this team really make a run, or is it just emotion? Comment, hit the like, subscribe, and come back tomorrow, because the Dolphins never let anyone breathe.